Hey guys, we are done with Unit 2 over the Constitution, so it's that time where we need to have some type of assessment. And again, I've told you this, we're not doing the traditional assessments anymore just because of the level of cheating we've seen. So Unit 1 worked pretty well for the Flipgrid. Actually, I think I have less Fs this year than I've ever had at any point because students do well on the Flipgrids, those who do it. Some students just straight up didn't do it. That's really the only way to fail, I guess. But no, everyone who did it did a pretty good job. I don't think anyone did the Flipgrid and failed unless they just forgot to answer questions. Um, so we're doing another Flipgrid over this unit. Some units lend themselves better to Flipgrids than others. There's a lot of stuff from this unit I'd like to ask, so I'm just going to put that on the review sheet, like more detailed things. But there are a few overarching questions or important topics that I feel like you should know from this. So on this video, you should have 4 answers. Let me say that first, okay? You should have 4 answers to questions when you are done with this video. There's one where you get to choose which one you want to do, but the other ones you don't so much, okay? So the questions are, explain the principles of the Constitution found in the preamble, and briefly explain what each article of the Constitution is about, providing an example or two where necessary. So look at the preamble. There are 6 things in the preamble. Now, I can tell if you Google answers on this one, because if you Google 6 principles of the Constitution, you're going to get the wrong answer, because that's a separate thing that I don't actually teach about. So don't Google it. Actually look at the Constitution. We talked about it in class. There are 6 things. Like the Constitution is why we wrote the Constitution, okay? Why we made it. And there are 6 reasons why we made it in there. We talked about it when we read it in class, and I defined some terms for you. So do that, and then go through each article quickly. And especially the first 3, you don't need to spend more than 10 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds on those, because we didn't go a lot of depth in those. We're going to spend more time on those in later units. But 4, there's a lot of stuff in, so maybe mention 1 or 2 of the things within 4. 5, you don't need to get in that much depth over because it's going to be a later question. And 6 and 7 are pretty short anyway, so that shouldn't take too long. But yeah, give me what the preamble states that we wrote the Constitution for and what each article is about pretty briefly. Really, 4 is the only one I'm asking for, examples. That's the first question. The second question, this unit is also about federalism, so I want you to tell me what federalism is. Okay, we have a federal government. What does that mean? Then give me an example of each of the powers we talked about in class, where we talked about federalism. Okay, we went through 4 specifically. So give me an example of each one of those powers, okay? So that's the second question. Number 3 is briefly and simply explain the process by which an amendment is proposed and ratified. This is the one I always ask every year, and this is the one students do the poorest on. Okay, I've told you, I'm going to ask you, how do we make an amendment? You don't need to get in painstaking detail. Just give me a brief. There are 2 ways to propose it. There's 2 ways to ratify it. Just give me what they are, okay? It can be proposed this way, or it can be proposed this way, and then it gets ratified this way, or it can be ratified that way. Bam. Pretty simple, okay? So that's the third question. There's 1 more, and you get to pick which one you do for the 4th question, okay? It has to do with the amendments. I felt like we needed to do something on this assessment for the amendments. I didn't want you to. We already did a quiz over all 27, so you get a choice here. You can go through the Bill of Rights, which is the first 10 amendments, and give me a brief summary of each one. And that doesn't mean you spend 30 seconds on each one. You just say the First Amendment gives us this right, the Second Amendment is about this, the Third Amendment has to do with that, the Fourth Amendment has to do with that. I mean, I'm fine with that pace. Okay, I would love for you to get this done in under 30 seconds if you could, but I don't rush it too fast. Make sure you give me a simple explanation. That's what I'm looking for. And then the other one you could choose 5 amendments that have to do with voting rights. There are specific ones in there about straight up voting, but you can also apply that to other things like elections. There's several in there that have to do with elections. So if I'm thinking about it, I could think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can think of 8 off the top of my head that you could put in there that have to do with voting rights or elections. Okay, and then just give me their numbers. So say, oh, the 14th Amendment has to do with voting age. That's wrong, but just a brief, simple explanation of 5. Pick 5 that have to do with voting and elections and tell me their number and what they did. Okay, so don't make this longer than it has to be. Okay, when I'm grading these, I'm going to have to grade 50 to 60 of them. I gave you 10 minutes total. Please, please don't take 10 minutes. The only options I had were 5 minutes and 10 minutes, and I know there'll probably be a few of you who need like a 6 minute. But please don't take 10 minutes. Just for the sake of your old government teacher, don't make me watch 50 10-minute videos. That's a long time. Okay? So again, I keep telling you guys, make it simple. Show me you know the stuff. If you don't know this stuff, Google it, comprehend it, and then tell me that, because that's research, that's studying. Don't Google it and then copy that and paste it onto here and just read it to me. That shows me you know nothing. That shows me you know how to Google. And even then, a lot of times you guys Google the wrong stuff. That shows me you can't even Google. So research it, comprehend it, and then tell me about it to show me you know it, because that's how I feel you should be evaluated. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know, but make sure you get this done in time. Okay? I'm giving you guys until Monday night at midnight to get this done. Okay?